She's just blow drying her hair. Yeah. I waited for the...
What?
Oh, I was talking to the internet.
Really?
I was just talking about your hairdryer sound, and I was explaining how I spent a little while listening to you randomly spraying poison, sticky stuff in the air in there before I did this, and I was just waiting for your blow dryer to stop.
Okay.
Yeah. You know how it goes, right, guys? Yeah. Well, good morning. It's Chris here from Whistle Stop Cafe and Mirror, and I'm not at the Whistle Stop Cafe, and I'm not in Mirror. I'm actually in Kansas City on the Missouri side. I didn't realize before I got here that Kansas was like the Lloydminster of the United States, as in it's in two different states separated by the Missouri River, so that's pretty cool. As most of you already know, maybe some of you don't, I'm down in the United States for, there was a conference this weekend in St. Joseph, Missouri. Pretty cool town. It was a eye-opener as to what has happened to small-town America in the last 20, 30 years. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, the conference was with that company that manufactures and sells that matured bitter hops extract that I've been on about for a couple months. It was a fantastic conference. There was another product launched and some changes to the, to the app and things like that. It was really, really good. I had a really good time there, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. Although, I won't be at the next one because I'm going to be catering a medieval fair in Vegreville, Alberta, and that's going to be July 9, 10, 11, 12 or something like that. We'll be out there. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on here and talk about a couple things that I've seen on the internet. The first thing I saw is that Stay Free Alberta, the petition, Citizens Initiative Petition that was Mitch Sylvester is the proponent of, has cleared the hurdle to compel the government to have a referendum on Alberta Independence. That's pretty awesome. We're going to still continue with our Let's Talk Alberta tour, basically just telling Albertans why we need to support an independent Alberta, what it means for Alberta, what it can mean for you. And yeah, so we're still going to be doing that. Now, the other thing I noticed was the attacks and the influencers, or should I say the AI regurgitators, are out in full force. And they're making all sorts of videos about why Alberta can't leave, why Alberta can't be independent, all these things. Most of them don't live in Alberta, and it doesn't seem like they're incredibly intelligent. They're asking questions as kind of a gotcha type thing, and the questions are things that we've been talking about for years. The most recent one I saw was about currency. But before I talk about any of this, I just want to make sure that everyone's clear on this. An independent Alberta isn't saying that things are going to be exactly like this or exactly like that. The opportunity that we have is that finally, for the first time in Alberta's history, Albertans get to decide those things. That's the point. When people ask me things like, well, what are you going to do about monetary policy? What are you going to do about currency? I generally respond, because I'm kind of a narcissist, I guess, with a question. My question is, well, what do we do now? If we don't like what monetary policy is coming out of Ottawa, what do we do? If we don't like that they're spending, hundreds of billions of dollars funding foreign wars and laundering money for in aid for other countries that are at war, what do we do about it? If we don't like that the government printed 100% more paper currency and devalued our currency by 50%, or by devalued it to 50%, what do? There's nothing we can do. Nothing at all. In independent Alberta, we would be able to do those things ourselves. Albertans would decide. How do we decide? Well, the same way we do in a provincial scenario right now. We support the people who want to do the things that we want done, right? Somebody says, hey, we are going to campaign on building an Alberta Reserve over the next however many years. Backed with a hard asset, we're going to have a physical Alberta Reserve back the currency with it. And then once we have 100% of our GDP in reserve, we'll launch our Alberta dollar or whatever you're going to call it. You can decide that. I can decide that. That's the difference. We can't right now. All of these little questions are kind of semantics. Who's going to provide your military support? Well, who does it now? Are you happy with it now? If you don't like what's going on with our military, with the King's Army or the King's Air Force and the King's Navy, what can you do about it? Not a damn thing. In an independent Alberta, we could. And I answer these questions, as do other speakers in the Let's Talk Alberta tour. I say, you know what? I would immediately contract the United States to provide our defense services. They're our best ally, best trading partner, best neighbor, and they have a critical interest in continental security, which Alberta, that had a robust defense, would provide for them. And we constitutionally enshrine that we can't have that forever. So we have to have an Alberta Defense Force, because you can't be sovereign if you're using other people's stuff to do your thing. Same with currency. We could use their currency. 27 other countries already do. 3 countries use it as their primary reserve currency. This isn't rocket scientists, guys. It's not rocket appliances. Like, these are all things that we can decide on our own. And yes, people have been thinking about it. Yes, people that were way smarter than me have put these things on paper and they're making these recommendations. Yes, there is a plan on how to do it. Yes, the numbers have been crunched. And no, nobody has a crystal ball. And nobody can tell you exactly how it's going to be. What's different from now? 20 years ago, if I told you, hey guys, our government is going to be a bunch of complete losers. They're going to completely cripple our money supply by printing so much money that it devalues our dollar. And your $100,000 house today is going to be worth $300,000 in 20 years. Would you believe me? Probably not. We couldn't do anything about it. Nobody had a crystal ball. Nobody knew it was going to go that way. If somebody 30 years ago had said to you, hey, you know what? Our military is going to become more concerned with gender identity and diversity, equity, inclusion than they are equipping their soldiers for battle, you would have said, you're crazy. Nobody had a crystal ball back then. Nobody has a crystal ball right now. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, let me see. Is there any underwear or anything on the floor? I don't think so. Okay, check this out. This is my hotel room. You see that? No teleprompter, no notes. I have nothing here. Oh, look at that. There's a visiting Kansas City book. But I'm not using any notes. This is unscripted, raw, completely off the top of my head. I don't need a teleprompter to talk to you guys about this stuff. And that goes for the events too. When I go to an event and I speak somewhere about these things, I'm not prompted. I don't take notes. I don't write speeches. This is all from here, from things that I've learned over the past little while as just a regular, everyday Albertan. So when I talk to you about, my ideas for what an independent Alberta could be, it's not coming from somewhere else. It's not coming from ChatGTP. It's not coming from an article written by some pundit or politician. It's coming from here. What I've done is I have gathered unto myself the knowledge needed to make good decisions going forward, because I know the decisions are going to be made by people like me. I know that in October 19th, we will... Oh, did you hear that? Psh, 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 from the bathroom? Yeah, that's the poison spraying all around. If I went in there right now to brush my teeth or something, I've already done that, so I wouldn't. But if I went in there, you know what it would be like? It would be, I'd walk around the corner and right in the face, and then I'd have all this sticky poison on my face. Yeah, guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? But it's sure worth it, because they sure look nice when they're done, right? Yeah. Anyhow, now that I've thought about the hairspray, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I talking about, baby? She's not listening to me either.
The poison.
The poison? Poison hairspray. No. Anyway, I know I'm going to have to make this decision. I know that I'm going to be presented with the question, and the question is going to be something similar to, do you agree that Alberta should cease to be a province within Canada and become an independent state? No, not a united state. A state as in an independent nation managing its own wealth and affairs, charting its own course forward, sovereignly. So if I'm going to answer a question like that, I should probably have the mental capacity to do so, right? This is a very heavy question. Very heavy. ChatGTP is not going to help you when you're standing there with that ballot and a pen in your hand choosing yes or no. You need to learn everything you can. And if there's one thing, one takeaway from this particular video about this particular topic, remember this. This is about, for the first time in history, having an opportunity for your voice to be heard and acted upon. At no time in Alberta's history have we had the opportunity to be able to influence, fully influence, our futures. We have always been subject to the whims of Central and Eastern Canada, and it's that way by design. We have always been taken along for the ride with things like, how's the military going to work? How's currency going to work? How's international trade going to work? Elbows up, right? This is the opportunity of a lifetime. And as I'm in the United States right now, I want to point something out. The United States wanted this as well at one point. And they fought some very bloody and horrendous wars over this. They had to fight for the opportunity to create their own constitution. They had to die and bleed for the opportunity to, figuratively check that box. Do you agree that we should be United States and self-govern, those types of things? 250 years ago, this year, the United States gained their independence from the British Crown. And they did it by bleeding and dying. And here's Alberta, up north. October 19th, we have that opportunity. We have that blessing to be able to decide. Nobody has to die. There's going to be a lot of, political people and podcasters and influencers with a lot of egg on their face because they're being exposed as uneducated government shills, but that's another story as well. So it's really important to understand that, folks. Alberta's at a place right now that has historically been purchased by the lives of the men and women who believed in freedom. And you guys get that for free. All you have to do is attend a few meetings, learn a few things, unsubscribe to a few influencers and podcasters who are literally earning money every time you watch their stupid videos saying stupid things about things that they actually have no idea about and no skin in the game with. These are the things that we get to do. Now, there was something else I wanted to talk about. It was something about the United States, being in the United States. Oh, right. People down here have no idea. When they hear my funny accent, I don't know what they're talking about, by the way. When they hear my funny accent, they say, "Oh, where are you from?" They don't say it like that. I can't even do an American accent. And I respond, "I'm from Alberta." There's a couple times where I said, "I'm from Canada," and then I corrected myself. "No, actually, sorry, I'm actually from Alberta." And they say, "Oh, why'd you say it like that?" And I explain, Alberta, in October, we have a referendum on independence. We're like Texas of the North. We're Texas's little brother. And we're going to make that decision coming up right away. They have no idea down here. And when we explain to them why, or when I explain why I believe in an independent Alberta, they're like, "Really? We had no idea." Most don't even know where Alberta is. But when you explain who Alberta is and how our federal elections work and how our federal government blocks our resources and how our federal government tries to use us as the, a scapegoat, or they throw us to the wolves in stupid trade deals, they're just like, they can't even believe that that's going on. The Airbnb operator where we stayed, we spent a lot of time talking to her about this, and she's like, we're rooting for you guys. I really hope you're successful, because nobody should have to live being taxed like that without proper representation. And I don't care what you say. There is no scenario that you can create that would make me believe that Alberta has effective representation and we should be paying tax the way we do. And I'm talking all tax, and specifically, what goes to the federal government for which we don't get anything back. In no world should any region have to live like that. So yeah, our friends and neighbors to the south here, absolutely fantastic. Even when I was deported by ICE, because ICE is just deporting anybody randomly, and I was in the little cages, I was talking to other people in the cages, and they're like, wow, yeah, we thought you guys were free in the north, but what do you mean your federal government is declaring your Bible as a hate symbol? That's crazy. How could you put up with that? I'm like, yeah, dude, you guys down here in these little cages, you have no idea what's going on. I'm being totally facetious. I was never put in a cage. I was never deported because I'm still here at the Ameristar Casino. It's not working. My hotel Wi-Fi sucks. Or maybe it's because I was talking about ICE. Anyway, what I was saying is, never bothered by ICE. My goodness. Getting through the airport was smooth. No problems at all. Yeah, it's fantastic to be down here. Nobody down here knows what the elbows up bullshit's all about. They're happy that we're here. They're friendly. And I highly recommend a trip to the United States to visit our best friends, trading partners, and allies. Even though our governments may not be acting like the grown-ups they are at all times and dragging us into trade wars that we have no business being in. We're getting questions. Someone asked, Chris, I have a question. Canada's a corporation, so how can one separate from that? Honestly, I don't believe any of that. The reality, at least the way I see it, is all sorts of places are incorporated. Your town is incorporated. Your province is incorporated. States are incorporated because they're not actually people. And in order to have credit and things like that, they have to personify or incorporate so that they can have credit and things like that. But really, it's irrelevant to the idea of Alberta independence. There's only two things needed. Forget the Constitution. Forget all that crap. Forget Canada's preference. Two things. The will of the people as manifested through a referendum with a clear question showing the clear will of Albertans, and international, my goodness, I gotta eat something, and international recognition, which we will for sure certainly have. So I hope that answers that question. And yeah, someone says, where in the States do they not know about Alberta? All over the place. All over the place. They don't know what Alberta is. No idea about Canadian geography. They just know that our Prime Minister is a idiot and fighting a trade war that he can't win. So, United States, 5 stars, do highly recommend. Come down for a visit. Even, you know what? People are saying, oh, it's only brown people they arrest, Chris. My daughter's brown. She drove all over the States a few months ago. No problems whatsoever. She didn't end up deported or in a cage even once. Had a very pleasant experience. So elbows up? I don't think so. How about we just start acting like human beings again and enjoying our lives instead of listening to stupid governments? So now we're going to go to, where are we going? The Tall Prairie Reserve in Kansas State is one of the last tall grass prairies on Earth. And they actually have herds of wild buffalo. Not bison, but wild buffalo. So we're going to go check that out and enjoy a little bit of the countryside. Maybe we'll see a little tornado. I'm not sure. That original house that we stayed at that had the legs sticking out from the bottom with the red shoes, they said they never have tornadoes here anymore, so I'm gonna go with that. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll do